akan coba bermain game Ghost Racing Tribute for
a couple of rounds last season, if you remember, for Dragon. But now, as a full works driver for Porsche, his teammate Andrea Lostra in 13th position. Because of that battery temperature issue that they have here in Santiago, expect them to use the attack zone early. It's less efficient when the battery is hotter, and the battery gets hotter as it becomes more empty. So they will try and use that attack zone early on in the race, so they can take full advantage of it. Of course, if you have safety cars or anything like that, it will compromise. Different layout this year, and Alexander Sims gets demoted one position by Antonio Pires da Costa. Andrea Lostra trying to go around the outside of both of them, and again through the last hairpin, a little bit of contact between the two. Lostra still hanging out on the outside line. Sims is going to hold on. This is the 13th position, by the way, so a long way down the field. Good opportunity for overtaking into first turn. Newly profiled for, a bit of contact. Lostra just drives into the tail of Sims, opens the door for himself. Sims going to be on the inside line here and muscles his way past. We've got Neil Jani on the inside line. So there was a lot of pushing there from Alexander Sims. Doesn't usually get very physical, but he had to do so just to clear the Porsche of Neil Jani, and Lostra was on the outside of him. And Muller also taking advantage in the Jaguar. Nico Muller up to 15th position. Evans leads, Fairline second, Günther third, Kirby, Mortara and Massa to Venturi's in the top six. Good effort from them for the moment. Then Van Dorn in seventh, very high in the championship after a great weekend for Mercedes in their debut weekend. Buemi gets demoted down to 9th position. I was saying that the first two corners have changed. In fact, the whole of the start-finishing line and the last two hairpins have changed since last year. The hairpins go the opposite direction because the pit lane is now on the opposite side of the track. And the start-finishing line from last year is the pit lane this year, and vice versa. And it has seemingly, so far, changed the way that that part of the circuit is driven and allowed more overtaking. The attack zone is in the outside. And I think he may have stopped on track. Oh, that's a real disappointment for Alexander Sims. Not good for him, not good for BMW, although at the moment they've got their second driver in third position. And Andrea Lotterer also down in 22nd spot. So a legacy perhaps of the contact between those two drivers. D'Ambrosio start with the fastest lap of the race, down in 18th position. Brendan Hartley's moved up a spot to 16th. Roland is 15th. Muller without the attack zone activation so far in 14th. And then Bird and Apt also with attack mode activated right now. Lucas Di Grassi goes into the attack zone, loses a spot to Jerome D'Ambrosio. Di Grassi only 18th position. And both Audis at the moment outside the points scoring spots.
Oke teman-teman, saat ini Evans masih di posisi pertama.
Race control about to... Oh, we got contact! Jean-Eric Verne, that is, with Stoffel Van Dorn on the outside of him being muscled. And we go full course yellow. So we can clear Alexander Sims's car just as Van Dorn and Van Dorn and Verne unstick themselves. A bit of contact through the first of the two hairpins. And now we can calm down. Good gaps between Evans and Wehrlein. And then Turvey in fourth. And that's going to be a very, very quick full course yellow. Race control about to start the cars again. Watch out for Maxi Gunter under pressure from Ollie Turvey. And now we go racing again further back. Lots of defensive work going on from Nick de Vries on Antonio Felix da Costa. The two DS Cheetahs and the two Mercedes fighting just on the tail of the points at the moment. And da Costa tried to squeeze de Vries into the barrier at turn 3. And he goes all the way around the outside. Verne and Van Dorn as well, so it's Verne, da Costa, Van Dorn, de Vries now, the two Mercedes losing out to the two DS Cheetahs, and Buemi just ahead of them in 7th spot. That was really frenetic stuff as some of the attack zone activations wear off for the first time. Daniel Apt moving up into 11th position down the inside of Van Dorn, but then de Vries, but then gets squeezed and loses that spot once more. And actually, Sam Bird is in there too. And he gets tagged. He gets tagged from Ollie Roland, and Bird spins around and delays Nico Muller. So Bird and Muller drop to 18th and 19th spot. Oh, disaster. An innocent bystander to a massive lunge from Ollie Roland, and Roland's nose goes flying on the start finishing straight. Evans now through the attack zone for the first time. Mortara as well. 1st and 5th position. Big mistake there from Ollie Roland, but he's struggling with a lack of downforce on the front of his car. Roland in 13th is going to be dropping down the field. Collado and Bird side by side, way out the points as Collado's just gone into the attack zone for the first time and has made it through. Bird does not have the extra power, so we'll settle for that. Just half a second separating Evans and Wehrlein at the front of the field. 8/10 to Gunter, then Turvey right on his tail. Massa, and look out for Mortara. He's got 4 minutes of attack zone. He's 6th position. And if you're wondering why Ollie Roland is dropping down the field, he's got no front wing, perhaps also some steering or suspension damage. And Roland, I think, will be heading towards the pit lane very, very shortly, just coming round onto the start finishing straight now. And actually, looking at the tail of the picture, he hasn't. That's a bit of a surprise. Massa goes into attack zone, doesn't lose any spots. His teammate has gone through though, so Mortara goes through into 5th. Massa does lose 1 spot, but stays ahead of Buemi, who is in 7th position. Then it's Verne, da Costa and Van Dorn, with de Vries just outside the top 10 point scoring positions right now. Oh, and Ollie Roland, he must have some bodywork underneath the car, because not only does he not have a front end, the steering looks all right, but he must have something underneath. Now smoking underneath his Nissan. And that friction will slow him down. I mean, he's already in 20th position. Frien's 1 lap down, having visited the pits in 21st. And Verne goes up ahead of da Costa and Buemi. Verne up into 7th position. Good move into one of the hairpins at the end of the lap. And here comes Mortara on Turvey into turn 1. Turvey without attack mode. And Mortara cruises past, and he's going to have Felipe Massa behind him pretty quickly. Wonder whether he'll go into this attack zone now. He does. So he gives the position to Felipe Massa. And both the cheaters behind go through as well. Don't think they lose positions. Mercedes did it the lap before, and so it's pretty much on as even, with Buemi the only person to really lose out. Buemi now down in 11th spot, so he's gone behind all of the cheaters and all of the Mercedes. Lots of extra power being used right now. 33 minutes plus 1 lap still remaining. The second half of the field got their attack zone activated early on, and so they will be falling back. Apt is the first of those. Oh, there's Collado diving down the inside. Hartley with his attack mode still activated, so that's up to 14th for Collado. And he's in a second Jaguar. New to the championship this year, James Collado. Multiple WEC GT winner with Ferrari. And moving into the seat that Alex Lynn had last year, if you remember, or Nelson Piquet also at the start. Alex Lynn part of the team still. He's still the development driver. But they felt like Collado could do a better job. Mortara moves up into third, ahead of Gunter. Onto the podium. Gunter, because Gunter went into attack zone. So Gunter's going to be able to counteract that. Mortaro's time is about to be up for his extra power, whereas Gunter has got 4 minutes left. Felipe Massa looking to try and get round Maxi Gunter as well. But remember, Gunter has the attack mode. Massa doesn't. Massa still has a little bit left because he activated it after his teammate Mortara. But both of them will be looking to try and get past Eduardo Mortara ahead of them in third position. The attack mode really well placed here in Santiago. It's working incredibly well. Remember, we don't do pit stops in Formula E anymore. Here comes Maxi Gunter into turn 1. An easy pass past Mortara. Now, you'd hope that Felipe Massa, as teammate to Mortara, would do the same thing. Massa's only got 1 minute left of attack mode as Wehrlein activates his attack mode for the first time. Does not lose a position. And that was a very nice, calculated move from Pascal Wehrlein. He's right in the mix of things with Maxi Gunter now. The two of them with the extra power, and they'll be able to drive away from Eduardo Mortara. Felipe Massa lining up his teammates. He's got to go around the outside. He's only got 10 seconds left of attack mode, so he's going to need to make this stick now. And he's still on the outside line. He's still on the outside line. He hasn't managed to do it. And he's only got 2 seconds left, so it's going to need to be a dive into the second to last hairpin. He's not close enough, and it doesn't happen for him. So Massa stays in 5th position. Ollie Turvey drops behind Verne and Da Costa. De Vries and Van Dorn have swapped positions as well on that last couple of corners. Action absolutely everywhere. Now, actually, De Vries is having to defend. So Van Dorn is having to defend from Buemi because Buemi has that extra power, and he's managed to cover him off going through the first couple of corners, but could still be under pressure. Still 1 minute remaining on Buemi. Now, 30 seconds remaining on Buemi's power, so that will allow him round this back end of the circuit to have one more try on Van Dorn. Verne, Da Costa and Turvey are also about to run out of their attack mode. And the front three have activated, well, Evans has activated his second attack mode already. Half an hour still remaining in this race. So I said they were going to do it early. They really have done it early. It's also a bit of a defensive move on Pascal Wehrlein. But Wehrlein and Gunter will have that extra power to be activated later on in the race. Evans will not. So Buemi's run out and hasn't managed to get past Van Dorn. So should all calm down now for a few moments. Brendan Hartley down in 17th position has attack mode. And then Gunter, Wehrlein and Evans are top 3. And they are stretching their advantage over the two Venturis in 4th and 5th. A great showing from Venturi, who really, especially a tail ender last year, really struggled to get into the points. And if you look at where they finished in Saudi Arabia, Mortara was a 7th and a 4th, so I suppose that wasn't too bad. And Felipe Massa was out of the points in 12th and 17th. So right now, an incredibly good performance from the Venturis. If Remember, their team manager is Susie Wolf, in charge of that. Venturi is an electric car manufacturer, albeit a very small one in Monaco. And now all of those attack modes have worn off, apart from the Jaguar of Mitch Evans at the front of the field. So it should calm down a little bit for the moment. The winners in Saudi Arabia for the first round, Sam Bird, and for the second round on the Sunday, Alexander Sims. Andrea Lotter was on the podium on the Saturday with Stoffel Vandoorne, Mercedes and Porsche. And then on Sunday it was the turn of Audi and Mercedes, with Lucas de Grassi and Stoffel Vandoorne. But just as we expect from Formula E, hardly any of those guys in the top contention are really in contention here. Lucas de Grassi down in 13th position. Stoffel Vandoorne is 10th, so just about picking up points right now. Sims is out of the race, and Sam Bird is in 18th spot. So, here comes Felipe Massa. Sorry, Vandoorne down the inside of Massa. Big block pass, almost puts Massa into the wall, and that's allowed Da Costa surely to get past, and his teammate Verne. That was an incredibly unhealthy overtake from Eduardo Mortara. Oli Turvey also losing a position to Sebastian Buemi, but what was the point in that? Mortara's just activated his attack zone, and Verne has too, so Verne is going past his teammate Da Costa as well. But Mortara sent it so late, and block pass, proper go-karting past that, a block pass on Felipe Massa. Massa just basically ended up in the wall. So Mortara now 4th, Verne now 5th, because he's got attack zone for the second time. Da Costa and Massa don't. They've dropped to 6th and 7th. De Vries ahead of Vandoorne. They've all gone ahead of Turvey, who's dropped now to 11th spot. So, as we expected from that Neo, as the race wears on, the efficiency of the Neo is just not as good as the other cars, and he cannot drive as fast to keep the numbers. They've all got pretty much the same amount of power. Da Costa with 62% remaining, and Turvey with 58% remaining. So that is about a lap difference. But there's so much battling still going on. Brennan Hartley is about to lose his attack zone in 17th position. His teammate Nico Muller in 16th, just ahead. And then D'Ambrosio 15th, Collado 14th. De Grassi without the extra power in 13th position. His teammate Daniel Abt has just activated, so he's in 12th and looking to overtake Oli Turvey. And then it's Buemi in 10th, Vandoorne 9th, De Vries 8th, Massa 7th. Da Costa goes into attack mode in 6th, but loses the position to Felipe Massa in doing so. And then it's Verne, Mortara and Günther in 3rd. Verline and Evans without attack mode at the front of the field as Daniel Abt deposes Oli Turvey. Turvey actually going into attack mode. And Massa gets passed by Da Costa. Massa without the attack mode. He's going to really be under pressure because he's going to lose a position also to De Vries pretty soon. And Massa's going to have to think very differently in terms of strategy now. And down the inside goes De Vries on Massa. Again, Massa getting squeezed to the wall. There's nothing he can do. He's got 12.5% less power than the guys ahead of him. Abt in 10th position now, ahead of Buemi. Lots and lots of changes here in Santiago. Remember, one of the big talking points last year was also the tarmac breaking up. We don't have the same problem here because they did re-tarmac all of the proper tarmac areas with a better tarmac, and there's quite a lot of concrete areas still, those last 2 laps. Bits of contact. Remember, Sam Bird got spun around earlier on. Eduardo Mortara has just put his teammate into the wall. And yet the race control haven't really seemingly investigated so far. Günther right on the tail of Mitch Evans now with 24 minutes remaining. Günther still has a minute's worth of attack zone. And he goes towards turn 1 around the outside. That's not going to work for him. There's going to be no space and he has to slot in. Looks like a little bit of contact between the two of them. It allows at least Maxi Günther to draw alongside Mitch Evans, but Evans had the inside line and protected it well. And that battling has put Pascal Wehrlein right into the mix of things. Günther with just 25 seconds remaining of that extra power. He really needs to get it done now to get ahead of Mitch Evans. Coming down towards the penultimate sector of the lap. He's going to have to go to the outside line to go around the outside, squeezing Mitch Evans all the way to the wall. And that's a beautiful move from Maxi Günther to take the lead of the race with just 5 seconds remaining of attack mode. He now goes super defensive into the first of the hairpins to cover himself off. And what a move from Maxi Günther in the BMW. He had to do it there, and it was a beautiful out round the outside, squeeze him as close to the wall as possible. And now Günther is going to have to preserve that car, make sure it is getting as much cool energy as cool air as possible. Preserve energy, lift and coast, defend when you can. And remember, Mitch Evans doesn't have any more attack zone. I don't think any of them really have much more in terms of attack mode to play with. And Evans is about 2%, it's about half a lap